They have a ton of abilities, and they feel like they flow worse than Equinox, which is so funny to me. I had footage before. See that, like, this is what I mean about them not doing enough damage. Like, there. So we are actually able to kill some of these enemies now. I just wanted to mention before we even really get started, this took me far longer than it normally should for a video like this. I actually ended up going and looking at Flo's and Kiai's videos and then putting their builds together to try to see if they had a better idea on what the frames did. And my build that I put together ended up doing more damage, though it was a little bit less energy efficient than theirs. I wanted to preface this video with that. I did a lot of research into every creator that I could possibly find. Those two were the best two that I could find. The others, I tried a bunch of them and they just weren't even comparing. Don't hate creators. They're just doing their thing, man. They're just humans. They're doing what the YouTube algorithm wants them to do. That is what I'm doing too. I mean, fuck. But if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Tell me what your thoughts are on Sirius and Orion, because I think they're really fun. They're one of the most fun frames in the entire game for me, but holy fucking shit, their tuning. I will be live at 7 p.m. after this video goes live. Anyways, enjoy the video. Hello, everybody. Let's talk about Sirius and Orion, because holy shit, there's so much to talk about with these two. They've got some fucked up shit. So let's talk about their kits really quick. In Sirius and Orion, we've got coronal ejection and slash. These are two sides of the same coin, where coronal ejection is a forward throw that picks up projectile, or pickups, collects all of pickups, brings them back to you, deals heat damage, and then returns to you on the way. So it's like a boomerang. It has a decent radius. It's got some status chance that allows for more heat ticks. So if you have really, really high strength, you can get way more status. Whereas Orion has gravitic slash, which is a slash damage swing that does, it's like a forward cone, and then it reduces shields and armor. So it's a full defense strip if you have enough strength. The angle is increased by range as well as the radius. So we've got that. Like I said, two sides of the same coin. You want to be using both. Then we're talking about his two. So we've got Astral Shell and Jade Stars. For Jade Stars, Sirius conjures Jade Light Bolts, basically like Ophanimized style. And then anytime you do damage to enemies or really walk near enemies, they do damage. They just do an additional heat damage and status effect adds whatever percentage strength that you have. So right now I've got 2 strength shards in, so I get 39%, but this can scale up pretty high. And then for Astral Shell, this is a defensive where upon taking damage, Orion will drop a clone, and this clone decoy that will draw fire. It has really, really high threat and lasts quite a bit of time. So you can actually have 2 or 3 of these active at the same time. I don't know if they did make the last one disappear, but they do activate faster than the cooldown or than the duration of the clone if you have like any duration at all. So it's really easy to have multiple active, but it's actually a pretty good defensive. Then we've got Event Horizon and Light's Sanctuary. This is both the best ability on their kit and the worst at the same time, in my opinion. Let's start with the worst. Light's Sanctuary. Sirius creates a well of light that heals and revives allies. It reduces incoming damage, and it slowly grows in size. That's great at all. It's really stationary on a frame that does not want to be stationary at all. The radius is not large enough, even at fully maxed build, for you to want to really care about this radius. The heal rate is decent, but like it's really only going to be useful for if you have really high strength and are going persistence, I guess. But even then, like, why would you run this over other healing options? And then damage reductions in the game have been not so good for a long time now. So, and then also on top of that, limiting the damage reduction to a small circle, no. The revive is neat, but also just revive. Just revive your teammates, or don't die in the first place. Anyways, Event Horizon is definitely their coolest ability. Orion whips out a black hole from his ass and just hucks it forward. And it pulls things in, does heat damage ticks, has an explosion at the end, and then when you're using Gravitic Slash or Coronal Ejection, you can pinball it. Gravitic Slash will push it away, and Coronal Ejection will pull it towards you. Now, my only downside with this is that when you hit them with the slashes, or hit the Event Horizon with the slashes, it slows down the black hole. I kind of wish it sped it up instead, because then you could actually run with it and like continue. Right now, it's just a little too slow, but you can just recast it, so it's not really a big deal. And then let's talk about the real reason why you're playing Sirius and Orion, Celestial Clash. Celestial Clash is a little bit of a complex ability, so I'm just going to show it really quick after talking about all of this stuff, but they take to the skies, they start smashing against each other, doing blast damage and causing these huge explosions around you, and each time you match the correct clash, you gain an additional flat 50% crit chance. The radius on this is enormous. The base radius is 26 meters. That's like the same radius as some fully built abilities. Like 280% range. So it's enormous. Now, it doesn't punch through walls, so it has LOS checks. You can only generate 2 constellation stars of the same type in a row. What the fuck does that mean? What does that fucking mean? So see that little constellation in the bottom right? I'm gonna zoom in on it right now so you can fucking see it. But if I use coronal ejection, I will get 1 green star. If I use it again, I'll get another green star. If I use it a third time, nothing happens. You can only gain 2 of these in a row. So when you swap by hold casting any of your abilities, you will use that ability and then gain a red star. So the whole point is to be swapping back and forth. You need to be swapping back and forth, in fact, to be able to get them to be fully stacked. And then once you're fully stacked, you'll be able to press your 4. You'll float up in the air, and you'll see your brother doing the same thing. He's fucking stuck in the ceiling over here. What are you doing, brother? Come down here. No? Okay. And you can float around. You've got this little dash, which is really fast, if I'm completely honest. This is an insanely fast movement. And then when you see the little icons in the middle of your screen, you'll see that I've got a little red arrow to the right. If I right-click, that will be the proper combination. If I left-click now, that will be the proper combination there. Left click, right click, left click. And then the last slash, if you've combined everything properly, will do this epic clash damage. And then just talk about their passive really quick. Swapping between them grants 45% energy or ability efficiency for the next 2 casts. So you are actually very much incentivized to swap back and forth. And then when below 50 energy, Sirius and Orion will steal energy from each other. Let's talk about modding these 2 brothers, because I was hurting my brain trying to figure out how to mod these 2 on stream yesterday, and it was like hurting me. Okay, so 2500. So it is affected by coaction drift. If I take coaction drift off here on both of these, it should be 1950 damage. Well, that doesn't fucking make sense. What are you shooting at? Okay, chill. Don't throw a fucking moon at that guy. Chill. Here's the big thing. They have 2 aura slots because they both get an aura. Each aura is the same as like a normal frame's aura, but you also cannot have 2 of the same aura on both frames. So I can't put growing power on both. It will only activate the one. So you want to have 2 different auras, right? So I was using growing power and corrosive projection because I found that the combination of the 2 was really nice, and having at least somewhat of a passive armor strip AoE is really good. Then we found something really interesting. Coaction drift. So coaction drift by itself typically isn't that good. It's okay, especially if like your team is running the proper auras, but typically they're running like weird auras. Somebody's running empowered blades, somebody's running deadeye, somebody's running corrosive projection, somebody's running aerodynamic, and you just don't need any of that. In a perfect scenario, coaction drift is really powerful. This is that perfect scenario. So here's the thing. You can put coaction drift on both of the brothers. Putting it on both of the brothers means that when I shoot an enemy, I get 9% more strength on both frames. So if I swap and then shoot a little bit, I will get 9.4, 34% strength. And that works on both of them. With corrosive projection, the same thing applies. Squad benefits 15% from your auras, and you benefit an additional 15% from auras. So this is affecting your corrosive projection. Using this sheet here, we can see that corrosive projection, when it was tested way back when, with just 1 coaction drift, is a 20.7% armor strip. This is far higher of an armor strip than you think it actually is. The damage reduction that is removed from enemies is so big. It's so much larger than you think it is on just minus 20%. I swear to God, this is like a 3 times damage multiplier. It is like really good. There is some shit here with coaction drift, and somebody will do the math, but just know that coaction drift is pretty good on both of these brothers. Now, let's talk about cooldowns. Cooldowns like Energize. So this is a 15-second cooldown. If I pick this up, Energize has a 15-second cooldown on Sirius. If I swap to Orion, that cooldown is gone. I also don't have Energize equipped here. The cool thing about this is that Energize has an AoE pulse that gives energy to any ally within radius. Well, guess who's in your radius? Your brother, the boys. So energize is actually twice as effective to put on each frame. Well, what if we just put on 2 energizes? Well, let's add some flow into here so that we can show off how much energy we get off of this. Not that they realistically need this much energy, but you know, if I pop 1 energy here, you'll see Sirius in the bottom right. We'll also get a ton of energy from that. And then swap and pick up energy from Sirius, Orion will get energy, and then vice versa. So you can consistently give yourself significantly more energy sustain based off of energize being 2 separate cooldowns and 2 separate effects on both frames. This is a really good effect. I think personally it's my favorite version of their energy sustain, because like you could run equilibrium, but then you'd need to run equilibrium on both frames and then pick up health orbs and energy orbs on both frames. Now, I know that they can share energy, but this kind of gives them over 300 energy whenever it pulses, and you could do that twice in your arcane slots. Therefore does not count as melee damage. I did some testing on that. It doesn't count as universal damage. It doesn't get increased through Avenger. It doesn't get increased through Arcane Arachne, but it does get increased through Arcane Crepuscular. So if we equip Crepuscular on both frames, just like this, and then we equip our Shade, which we have, and some of these boys, wait for it to go invisible, or rather it should already be invisible. So we've got a 40k hit there. If I take off Crepuscular and add in Intensify, just so that it equals out in strength based off of being invisible or not invisible, the hit is 16k. So we are getting the critical damage bonus from Crepuscular. Now that causes a very interesting conundrum to show up. You need both brothers to be invisible permanently if you want that effect on both brothers. Otherwise, you only get it for half of the brothers. Shade can only do so much, same as Horus. They're not going to be able to cast the invisibility enough to keep both brothers invisible. So what are your options? You could go Ivara Arrow. Evade is not quite the option because you would, again, only be able to make one of the 2 brothers invisible. We'll talk about subsumes in a second. Ivara Arrow can be fired at your brother so that you can make your brother invisible, and then you can run Shade. And like that sounds to be the best option in my opinion, but then you lose out on other subsume options. So it's weird. I have to test which one does the most damage, but I also feel like the invis version would be kind of annoying to deal with. Hi, I have a story to tell you really quick before we get into the build. I spent the entire day that I was supposed to be editing this procrastinating. And the reason why is because I didn't feel like my Sirius and Orion build was going to be impressive enough, because it frankly was the same build or same similar style of build as like every other creator I've seen, and it was not able to kill Elite Temporal Archimedia enemies quickly enough, in my opinion. They're still okay and their damage is fine, but it is very apparent that they were worried that Sirius and Orion would be very overpowered, and a lot of their scaling has been tuned way too far back. Both of their ones don't do enough damage. Sirius's 2 is really bad. It does less damage than Ember's Fireball, though it hits more often, but that doesn't matter. It's still reverse heat inheriting your weapons. Sirius's 3 only has 75% max DR, which is nothing. People complain about Trinity's 75% DR on her 4 all the time. Trinity's 4 is better than Sirius's 3. That doesn't happen anymore. New frames don't have worse abilities. They just don't. Orion's entire kit, his 2, 3, and obviously the 4, are the best 3 abilities in the 2 boys' kits. However, I was trying my damnedest to put together a build that I would be happy with. So when I was originally putting these builds together, this is what I was running. And I was running this on both frames. The other would just have corrosive projection instead of the aura, and then they would have the exact same stats. This was fine. I'll even show this damage really quick. It's fine. It works. We'll kill some corrupted heavy gunners, but you'll see why I'm a little disappointed by how much damage that does. Because frankly, like, we've hit 4 of our hits and these enemies still have health. 5 and there's still 1 alive. 6 and that guy's dead. And if we go summon 2 more, now that we've like timed the hits properly, if I go and hit these guys 2 more times, 1 more time, the last hit doesn't kill level 235 Steel Path Heavy Gunners in a single hit. I have Roar as well, so like my damage should be enough. I wanted to make it so that their damage would kill things, but there's tankier enemies than this. Like there's Xmas enemies, and there's like I use Corrupted Heavy Gunners to test on because typically it's just the 90% damage reduction that matters, so that we can see how much damage it does. But it wasn't doing enough. So I racked my brain all day, literally for the entire day, putting off editing the video because I just felt like I wasn't going to make a good enough video for you guys. That's changed. At the end of the night, I decided I'm just gonna stop editing. I need to stop. I need to chill out for a bit. And then I opened Warframe and I got a drink. I just looked at this build for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes and went, what if I just do exactly what DE wants us to do with these two? And I built this. This is support Sirius. What does that mean? Well, it's running Energize, which is it'll pulse energy into Orion, which it's not really necessary. A lot of this stuff is overkill, but we're not really caring about how much this guy does. We're running enough efficiency, so Streamline, you could run whatever there, but I like this Streamline. Equilibrium, Flow, Energy Nexus, all for just a shit ton of energy. Then we're running Coaction Drift and Power Donation. By the way, Power Donation never used to work with Coaction Drift, but it seems to be working now, weirdly enough, but it does. But not the you lose 30% ability strength, it's the bottom part, the squad mates gain 30% ability strength. That is buffed by one of the two bonuses here. I don't know which one, but it is being buffed. I tested that pretty thoroughly when I was like doing damage with the two of them, and I was like, well, that's actually getting increased by Coaction Drift, it was weird. Anyways, then we're running Augur Secrets, Blind Rage, Augur Reach, and Catalyzing Shields. Catalyzing Shields just for survivability, just a little bit more. They don't really need it, but then we get 223% strength. We're running Bright Bonnet to give Orion 45% more strength, running Coaction Drift with Power Donation for an additional roughly 36%. And then all we do is we try our best to stay out of Sirius, because Sirius is as the clone will throw the Bright Bonnet all the time. Then this is what we've got for Orion, which is a really, really heavy damage build. We're running Growing Power with Power Drift. This is going to be buffed by by Sirius's Coaction Drift, Blind Rage, Transient Fortitude, Augur Secrets, Precision Intensify, Crepuscular, and Augmented for Strength, as well as getting Power Donation and Bright Bonnet. Our strength ends up around 550%, which is a lot. It's a lot, especially for R4, which is the thing that we're trying to get kill things. Then we're running Prime Continuity, Augur Message, though these are not really that important, but it's mostly to keep up Astral Shell, which is, by the way, a really good ability. This is like a really, 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 really good ability. If you don't know about this ability, damn, it's really good. And then we're running Augur Reach and Augur Stretch just because the range on this is so high, it doesn't really matter. Why is this better? If you throw one each, and then swap. Why did that not swap? And then you've got like 4 Sirius stars. And then you go into this. That's 25k, baby. On the first hit. You'll notice like the Orion hits are doing so much more damage. The goal is to try to not have Sirius be the final hit, because the final hit for Sirius is going to do that, which is next to nothing. So it will require a little bit more brain power. So you want this first one to always be Orion. That's all it is. Now that we've got all of these active, Sirius is throwing Orion's throwing Event Horizons over there. We can pop into our 4, and we'll just do this correct hit. The correct hits. These enemies will not be dead, but I do want to hit these enemies with a final big hit. There. So we are actually able to kill some of these enemies now. This is the best I was able to get. I think Roar maybe would be a little bit better here instead of Bright Bonnet, but Bright Bonnet's really comfortable, especially for energy and stuff. Sirius and Orion are pretty underpowered, if I'm completely honest. Their power is not high enough at all, especially with what we have now in the game. I have a theory that DE might have been a little afraid to make them strong, because Noko and Foley and Uriel, they all came out so powerful that they are like able to break the game. It's so strange, but especially Uriel, in my opinion, who, and this is a personal take, I actually don't think their kit flows very well together, in my opinion. It feels like a bunch of abilities that are just so overtuned and stuck together on the same frame, but it doesn't matter because they're overtuned, right? Like, it's so weird to me. This was the best I could get. Now, this is able to kill ETA enemies. I can show it. It doesn't do it that well, even with everything considered here. Now, I want to mention this really quick. The debuffs are nothing that's going to like reduce our damage or anything. These are just extra miasmites, crates, that kind of stuff. Then we've got like like losing health, puncture, reduced overguard, which we don't have overguard, so it doesn't really matter, and then shield recharge delay, which doesn't matter because we're shield gating. So none of that's going to actually affect our frame, so we're actually getting a little bit of an easier time. We should be able to show it off pretty well. We'll test the first like 3 waves, just so you can see what that means. Knife step being annoying as always. I like Bright Bonnet a lot as a subsume because it's energy sustain without ever needing an enemy to kill, which is weird, I guess. But there is a bug with them, it seems like, where if you swap to Sirius, if you swap to Sirius as like and then throw a Bright Bonnet, if you press and hold cast whatever ability, it will cast another Sirius ability instead of swapping, which is weird to me, but it does do that. But you're noticing like I actually am able to kill this stuff. I had footage before. See that, like, this is what I mean about them not doing enough damage. Like, that isn't, I guess it is a 90% armored enemy, but very frequently the new frames are able to kill the 90% DR enemies very easily, especially with their long build-up ultimates.
Huh?
What the fuck? Dude. Do the crazy things? I don't know. Like, we'll try to kill this Screamer with the 4. Okay, that wasn't too bad. But we also hit him with like 4 of them. They have a ton of abilities, and they feel like they flow worse than Equinox, which is so funny to me. They definitely do less damage than Equinox, I can tell you that. What do you guys think? Do you guys like Sirius and Orion? I think they're arguably one of the most fun frames in the game for me, because I love the idea of them fighting back and forth and swapping abilities and hitting each other and then clashing in the air to kill every enemy that's nearby. But I can't help but thinking what they could have been instead. It's so disappointing how low damage they do. Like, I'm not even talking about just specifically Celestial Clash, and maybe I'm a little biased because they don't kill in ETA. Like, fucking that's not that many people that actually play ETA. There's enough that I think it's worth talking about, but like in low missions, you're gonna build them completely different. High efficiency, lower strength, really high range, and then you'll just nuke whatever the hell you see. But anything that's low, it doesn't, like, you're gonna shoot it with a gun and it'll die. Like, anyways, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.